Live from New York, it's a show that's getting ready for a performance from Jackson Blade.
This guy is the worst. He's just the worst.
Why?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't know. Everything was fine 3 minutes ago.
Until I got lit up for having an opinion.
Then I registered surprise that I won't spoil it, for our social media video of the day, one of Wild's answers surprised me. And then Wild's threw a fit. He was like, I'm sorry, is it my answer or is it Matt?
Like,
should I just ask
that's
her
an
opinion?
absurd
And I
answer.
was just surprised.
I was like, who do you want
so-
to have in the playoffs? And I was like, Gardner Minshew. And they're like, what?
I was just surprised. Brew
Like, yeah,
was
Gardner
equally
Minshew.
surprised. So then Wild took out his anger at me on Brew and ruined his A block.
No, I'm talking
90
what?
seconds before we're on the
It's
air,
not
Wild's
ruined.
ruined the A block.
Stay tuned. Not ruined. A new giant, John Harbaugh, will take over the reins in New York. He's building out a staff. Diana Rossini reporting that former Ravens OC Todd Monken is expected to join him. It's been a decade since Tom Coughlin left, and it's been ugly. Harbaugh will be the fifth coach as he tries to flip a winning percentage that is only ahead of the Jets. Not good. So what does this mean for the New York Giants?
I'm going to say something that I'm fairly certain I've never said in the history of this show. I 100% agree with Dan Orlovsky that this was the best day for the Giants since they won the Super Bowl.
Oh, I thought it was the Lions.
He said that this morning, so I give him credit. He was first to market with it, and I totally agree with him.
Yeah.
There are three legs to the stool of perennial contention in this league. The first one is you don't have to have great ownership. You just can't have horrible ownership. Mm-hmm. You can't have ownership that's going to get in your way. The Giants certainly don't have horrible ownership. I think and some would say they have great, but it's certainly at least steady. So you have that. A coach that knows what he's doing, and obviously a quarterback.
That's a compliment from you.
What do you mean?
Sirianni.
Well,
you generally don't think he knows what he's doing.
but I also don't know. That's fair, but that's not. I'm not. Let me make clear what I'm trying to say here. I am not saying every team that contends always has all three things. Because we have seen teams that I think the Bengals have bad ownership. They got to a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is if you are trying to build out how you can have franchise stability long term, those are the three things you must establish. The Giants.
Well, what was the third?
Quarterback play. The Giants now, I think, definitively have two of them, and we'll see if they have the third in Dart. But if not, you expect Harbaugh to give them enough stability that they can build a program, so to speak, while they figure that part out. And it gives you a real read on Dart, because as Mike Vrabel proved this year, and as Ben Johnson proved this year, and as I said throughout the year talking about them, if you have the right coach and the right quarterback, it ain't no 4-year rebuild. Mm-hmm. By the end of year two, you know it. And I feel like we know John Harbaugh is at the very least a good NFL head coach, and maybe he can still be great, even if it wasn't great at the end in Baltimore. And so you will get your answer on Dart sooner than if you hired a young, up-and-coming OC that after 1 year they're like, wait, if we have a problem, who's the problem? Is the quarterback good or the coach good, whatever it is? So I think this is the best hire they could have made, because I don't think Tomlin was actually available. And so I give them a ton of credit.
I heard Orlovsky. I just heard you. I watched all the pundits on TV today, and everybody's praising the Giants for hiring the guy that could not, with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, make the playoffs.
That's a solid
Not win
point.
a Super Bowl, not get to a Super Bowl, make the playoffs. The guy that in the last 5 years has more double-digit fourth-quarter blown leads than any coach in the last 5 years. Oh, and by the way, this Giants team blew 5 double-digit fourth-quarter leads, so he's going to be the answer. The guy that reportedly lost the locker room in Baltimore, That's your king? That's your savior? I don't like it, Wilds. I love it. I love this hire.
But you just made a real compelling case against him.
I know.
You actually
you did too good of a job on the
like
front.
it made me reconsider.
You were right, dude.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Who's in the locker room? You have Lamar, you Jackson Dart.
Here's the deal, though. What did I say last week? I said I don't want to see him with a contender. If Buffalo loses this weekend or lost this weekend, fired McDermott, and then brought in Harbaugh, I would feel that way. But a team that is rebuilding, I think he is fantastic for this job because he's going to immediately bring credibility. He's going to bring respect. He's going to create a winning culture. He's going to bring stability that they haven't had since Tom Coughlin. And if you hire a whiz kid coordinator, offense or defense, you don't know. We've seen enough. Josh McDaniels is as good as it gets as offensive coordinator. He struggled in his 2 chances as a head coach. You don't know, and you would be in that situation. With Harbaugh, you know he's a good coach. Like you said, if Jackson Dart doesn't pan out, it's not really on Harbaugh. You know, okay, he's not the quarterback. So I think this is a great hire. Look, I actually think they're going to be in playoff contention next year. I'm not saying they definitely make it, but I think Dart's pretty good. Obviously, he's got to stay out of concussion protocol. Neighbors obviously will be back, and he should be good.
I'm a little worried about that, by the way.
Him getting back?
Yeah, like
they need Neighbors? Him, obviously.
Yes, because it seems like he or Scattaboo being back for week 1, I don't think is a guarantee. But I didn't mean to interrupt you, Brou, but I think that's for the Giants to get to where you're saying with Harbaugh now as the coach. I think it's going to be about that front 7 defensively anyway, and of concern.
Well, right, and their defensive front.
Right, to build it from the inside out.
Obviously, you want Abdul Carter to take a leap, which, Harbaugh's defensive culture, he should help him take a leap. They still have work to do. The defensive backfield and offensive line, things like that. But I think they have the pieces. And look, head coaches make a huge difference in the NFL.
Yes.
More than the NBA, more than Major League Baseball. Look this year, Liam Cohen and Mike Vrabel. Both from 4 wins to last year to 13 wins in their first season with Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell. There are a number of guys that come in right away. And that's why I agree with you, Nick, that sometimes it may take a 3 or 4, 5-year plan. But that doesn't have to be the case, particularly nowadays. It can be turned around very quickly. And I think Harbaugh will certainly next year get them back to respectability. And, I said it, they lost 5 double-digit leads. That means they were ahead of some teams, a lot of teams. They beat I get it, Philadelphia probably took them lightly, but they beat Philadelphia and, they played some teams decently. So I think that's a great hire.
All right, NFC East. Jaden will be back with Dan Quinn, and that was the story of a turnaround, but they fired their coordinators. The Eagles get a new OC, so that offense should theoretically work. The Cowboys are going to be in the mix.
Yeah, but I think he's the best coach in the division. No disrespect to to me, I think Schottenheimer had a good first year. I think Dan Quinn has proven he's solid. Like Dan Quinn, coached for a long time in Atlanta. They got to a Super Bowl. I think he's solid. I think he is a better than average NFL head coach. I don't think he is special. And you guys know how my skepticism of Sirianni. So when you have the best coach in your division, the only thing better you can have than that is the best quarterback. Like that's the only asset you can have that's more valuable. Because I agree with Brou. It matters more in this sport than any other sport by a mile. And rebuilds can take a long time, but what makes a rebuild take a long time is how long it takes you to find the quarterback. Yep. But if you have a real solid NFL head coach and the right quarterback, you are instantly good.
Yeah.
And so that the value of hiring a known quantity at head coach is it removes that variable from the evaluation of Dart. Now, like this year, it was I don't know if Brian Daboll is a good NFL head coach. He has the pros and cons list with him. Both lists are very long. Like there's a lot of really positive, but a lot of also negative. Now we're going to get a fair test of Dart, and just that knowledge is so valuable for them. They have 5th pick of the draft. They'll almost assuredly, I would imagine, take the best offensive lineman in the draft and build from there and say, let's go run it.
Patriots preparing for the Texans Sunday afternoon. Houston hasn't lost a game since November 2nd. Come into Foxborough with a 10-game winning streak. All right, Drake put up 16 points last week, dropped the ball a few times, Brou. Do you expect him to return to MVP form?
Well, let's define MVP form for Drake Maye. Because look, I had him second on my ballot. He had a great year. If he wins MVP, I'm not going to throw a hissy fit. But he wasn't spectacular. He does throw the deep ball well, obviously. But he didn't have many Superman games like a Josh Allen or a Lamar Jackson or something. Now, the Jets, of course, but they were the Jets, a horrible team this year.
Just so steady.
Yeah, he's steady. So he had 5 touchdowns against the Jets. Take that away, he had 2 games with 3 touchdowns. Not even 3 or more, 3. He had 1 300-yard passing game. So MVP form for Drake is about 2 touchdowns and 250 yards.
Yeah.
Now, the Texans, I mean, take that, certainly,
100%.
especially against the Texans. So I'm just saying it's not like a Superman Josh Allen type game that he has to have for us to be like, he did his thing.
500 yards in that Seattle game.
Yeah, nothing. It doesn't have to do something
not
like
that type of thing. But against this team, I mean, all told, when you include sacks, they didn't give up 250 yards in passing in one game this year, other than the Week 18 when they rested their starters for the second half. So their starters did not allow 250 yards passing from an offense. So I think it's going to be difficult. I have a graphic, I believe, about some of the quarterbacks. Well, this is Maye under pressure. Okay, these are the things he has going for him against this defense. He's very good under pressure.
He was the best pressure quarterback in the league this year.
Because he's going to get pressure.
Yes.
And so he can handle the pressure. I think his running ability could help him. So his legs should help him. And the fact that the Texans' offense is so pedestrian.
Correct.
So he doesn't have to have 30 points to win this game, I don't believe.
No.
And so if he can just be solid, and his typical two touchdowns, 250 yards would probably be enough.
Yeah.
If he can do that efficiently, no turnovers, or maybe just one. So, look, I think it's going to be a tough day for him. But because of his legs, because of his handling the pressure, and because it's not going to be a shootout, I don't believe, I think he's got a chance.
Do you want to go?
I mean, if we scored 30 points, they should cancel the Super Bowl and mail us the trophy.
Yeah. No, I think 21. I think if you guys
21,
scored 21, assuming the Texans' defense doesn't score, should be enough to win the game.
Yes.
But I want you to go on your thoughts on Drake before I go.
It's hard to find sort of avenues of openings in the Texans' defense. Yeah. The 2 from like Evan Lazar, who works for the Patriots, they're 31st in EPA allowed per scramble, so Drake can get out. It's a little bit of that pressure because they're only runs from 4, so you can get out. Trevor broke some runs, doable. And explosive pass rate.
Trevor broke some runs in the regular season game, or are you talking about Herbert? Because the
regular season game, Trevor got
it. Okay, sorry.
And then you can throw the ball over their heads, basically, and Drake is good at the long ball. The thing that I'm putting all my faith in is Josh McDaniels. This is not Josh McDaniels' first time going up against an elite defense. Here he is in the playoffs against a number 1 total defense. Buffalo, that was the Josh Allen, 6 straight touchdowns games. That was with Mac Jones, still put up 305. A little bit funky because I think Buffalo, once they were up 40, they were like, throw the ball around a little bit. Houston with 377. These are Brady games, so this is also a little bit funky. That was Brady versus Clowney. And then Brady versus Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware, prime Aqib Talib was the Denver game. And then, of course, the Legion of Boom Super Bowl, still 377. Now, maybe that's just a side, a side piece of the Belichick Brady argument is Josh McDaniels Brady. But look, it's not like he hasn't gone up and had some success against elite defenses.
Yeah, I'm picking the Pats in this game, and I think Drake will play well. I am not let me rephrase. I think Drake will play well compared to how quarterbacks have played against the Texans. I agree. Here is the thing, because I took all the games the Texans have played this year, and I wrote down the quarterbacks who they played, who I think are good, and then everybody else.
Yeah.
And when you split it, no, they put everybody in hell.
Yeah.
Left column is Stafford, Mahomes, Trevor, Baker, Herbert, Darnold, Allen. Right column's everyone else. And it's like, all right, the good quarterbacks can win. You know what I mean? Like, they can do just enough to where you might win. But the passer rating's 70. The touchdown turnover is 6-11. The yards per pass are identical. The completion percentage is identical, which is to say they are almost quarterback agnostic as far as what the defense is going to do. That defense, to quote Marshall from the committee, is going to repeatedly punch you in the face. That's just what they're going to do. And the key for Drake Maye and the Pats is take sacks without fumbling. Yep. Throw it away without throwing a pick. What are you smiling about, KW?
Remember, this is a cousin of my good loss
Excuse me.
Good fumbles week, first playoff game for Drake.
Oh, well, I mean, lessons. Like, good, if they're good fumbles, if it's a lesson.
Yeah.
It's bad fumbles if it's like,
a problem.
He has, if you
Oddly,
attack
I thought
it from
CJ's
here.
were bad.
So, well.
And I thought Drake's were good.
The worry about Drake in that spot is, not to get you annoyed, one of the only combine measurables people don't like about him is a little undersized hands. Or is that a product of not seeing the rush or not seeing the rush? I don't know.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It could be, an expensive lesson learned cheaply, or it could be a sign of things to come. But I don't think quarterbacks have great games against this team.
No.
And the closest one is Stafford in week 1 against them, and it was week 1.
Touchdown.
Threw one touchdown, but he's like the only one with like a really good passer rating.
I think they're better now too.
Yeah,
I would
they
imagine.
are. There's no doubt.
And so they
remember that's when they started 1-5.
They do everything well defensively.
Yeah.
And they have they cover well, and those guys tackle, and they have 2 great pass rushers.
Good defensive
But I think you guys are going to win because I think that their offense. I think your guys' offense can put up a fight against their defense. And I don't know if their offense can even put up a fight against your
I don't think
defense.
Nico Collins at practice again today.
No, he's not playing, man.
If he's
Christian
not
Gonzalez,
playing,
I think, took off the red jersey, so he was just ready to go. All right, Texans 0-6 in the divisional round in franchise history. Fred Warner is back at practice. Status unknown. I think it would be a surprise if he plays, but even so, Trent Williams says just seeing him out there is motivation. Seahawks are the largest favorites of the weekend, Brou. Should they be on upset alert?
Yes, absolutely. I think what Trent Williams just said there is important. Like, think about that. Like, you've got your best defensive player, your best player maybe, coming back and trying. Whether he gets on the field or not this weekend, just the fact that he's, like, trying and it's like, I'm definitely playing next week, if not this week. I do think that motivates the team. And I'm thinking they probably, Nick, just like the Bears have developed this feeling of if we're down, we can come back and win. I bet they probably have developed this feeling that it doesn't matter who goes out. If Brock gets hurt, Mac Jones will do it.
Okay.
If somebody else, C-Mac goes out, somebody will get it done.
He's the only one who's been there all year.
He has been there all year, you're right. But I just think they feel like whoever we have, we are capable of winning. And look, Now, I get it. The first week they had, Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, but they beat him 17-16. Purdy threw the game-winning touchdown. The last game was close. I mean, the offense was terrible. They only scored 3 points, but they held Darnold with that defense that we know can give up a ton of points to 13 points. And so I think Purdy is a smart quarterback. He's obviously been through big games. I think he'll learn. He's got 3 interceptions in the 2 games against them. Now, it's his nature just to throw it. Yeah. He's a gunslinger. So he's going to throw probably at least 1 pick, I think. But I do feel like he's probably going to learn from their experiences against them this season and have a better game. Pearsall looks like will be back, so that's another weapon back. You don't have Kittle, but I give them a chance for sure. I definitely think it's a possible upset.
Niners won week 1, 17-13. Seahawks won week 18, 13-3. So it is, when you look at what these offenses have done against the opposing team's defense in the 2 matchups, week 1 and week 18, it is very, very close, right? I mean, again, the Seahawks have scored exactly 13 points in each game. But the yards were within 20. Yards per play almost identical. Third down percentage is identical. 1 more big play and 1 less giveaway for Seattle, as an edge. So the gambler in me says I like the 7 points you're getting with San Francisco. The realist in me says this is the end of the line for San Francisco.
Yeah.
That this has been a magnificent coaching job. Yep. And roster building by Lynch as far as not only depth, but high football character. Yep. Guys that everybody says next man up. The Niners really embodied it all year long, and they went on the road against the rested, relatively healthy, defending Super Bowl champs, and watched what I believe to be the emotional leader of the team, one of the longest tenured players, suffer, what season could the worst injury one can suffer that doesn't involve being, ambulanced off, and they just kept showing up. Yeah. I have massive respect for it. You guys have, we've talked Purdy. I'm looking at Purdy through a different lens almost as like a gunslinger, like you're saying, like which allows you to game manager making mistakes. It's like that's not your job. Right. Guy that's like, hey, we're undermanned. We don't have any of the Avengers, so I got to take chances. I'll have more, kind of courtesy, if you will, in evaluating him from there. But the Seahawks have been off 2 weeks. I don't think they have a unit of their team that has a weakness. Like, it doesn't mean there's strengths everywhere, but their run game, run defense, pass game, pass offense, all of it. I think they're too good. So I think it can be close, but I would be stunned if the Niners go to Philly and 6 days later go to Seattle to get back to the NFC Championship.
And let's see what Darnold does.
Yeah. Seattle is due for a loss. Bo Nix and the Broncos taking on Josh Allen. Greg Jennings is here.
Looking great as always.
Josh has been the best quarterback in the playoffs so far. Broncos defense, while formidable, has allowed the top quarterbacks to get some yards and some touchdowns. Does anyone think Bo and the Broncos can win in a shootout?
Absolutely, unequivocally not. Once it's happened, the Packer game. That's it. In his career, how many wins does Bo Nix have against playoff teams when his defense allows more than 17?
Bing!
Yeah.
0?
No, I just said once it happened. Just the one.
It's okay. The Packer one?
The Packer one.
This is in his
in his 2 years when playoff teams scored more than 17 points. This is not how the Bo Nix late game magic hasn't been the Trevor Josh fourth quarter from this past weekend where they went score, score, score. It has been the defense keeps the other team under wraps, keeps them within reaching distance, and then Bo plays well down the stretch. And to his credit, that's what he does. But we're not seeing these high shootouts. And so, again, the Packer game, it happened, but that's the only instance in his whole career. And of all the game scripts that I think Sean Payton is hoping for, shootout is his nut low option, the worst possible case for him. So no, I don't think they can win a shootout.
I don't think they would win a shootout. Certainly that's not what you want if you're Sean Payton, but I think they can. Like, I won't go as far as you that there's no chance they could win the shootout. You mentioned the Packer game. Well, that's evidence. I mean, because Nick's really, what he threw for over 300 yards, I think, in that game. They had a shootout with Daniel Jones. Now, it was 29-28. Indianapolis ended up winning. Remember when the field goal kicker for the Colts missed it, then there was a penalty, and he made it. That was a close game that Denver could have won, and Bo Nix played well, threw for 3 touchdowns. They had a shootout with Dak. Now, I get it. That defense was terrible. But still, he threw 4 touchdowns. He won a shootout against Dak Prescott. And so I do think it's possible. Obviously, it's not likely. That's not what you want if you're the Broncos, and I don't think their defense will give up that many points. But I do think Bo Nix could win a shootout because he has shown he's a gamer. And I think I have I have a graphic here. This is when the opponent scores 25 or more points. Look at his numbers. 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 5 games, and 313 yards per game.
Commanders. That's bad team.
Well, one of those teams is the Packers.
But
those are some losses. So I think one team is Jacksonville. So these are they aren't all wins.
Yep.
But it shows Washington they lost to, but he threw for like 300 yards.
They beat the Commanders.
They lost 27. Was it 27-26 in overtime?
They beat them 27-26 because that was the 2-point conversion that got batted down. But
right.
Mariota.
So I think he's capable. I certainly wouldn't pick him over Josh Allen in a shootout, but I don't think it's as totally no chance like you said.
No chance. I'm with Nick. I second that. There's no chance. If you're in the stands and you've been rooting for the Broncos and you've been watching Bo Nix and you've been Bo Nix, he gets it done. You still know he cannot win a shootout. That's not the style of which they want. Neither is it the style that he can actually perform. I would argue neither one of those moments were shootouts that you guys have mentioned. Green Bay was 16-14 at halftime. Green Bay, they only give up 10 points in the second half. That's not a shootout. That's not back and forth. He played well, and it went back and forth for a minute, but a shootout is what we saw with Josh Allen in Baltimore. Like, that's a shootout. We typically see Detroit in the Rams. That was a shootout. Like the highest scoring games, and you have to continue to score because your defense is allowing, to your point, what they don't do, the opponents to continue to score. They haven't done that. This defense has only given up 30 points twice all season. And so when you look at this offense in Josh Allen, if you look at, once we talk about shootouts, what we start to identify is, the quarterback. Yeah. Period. Josh Allen in a shootout, he loses to one guy.
That's right.
Patrick Mahomes.
He doesn't so if this game starts to remotely look like a shootout, Denver's done.
So that's and the other reason that I feel so strongly about the Bills in this spot is if the Bills fall down 10-0, are they panicked at all? My answer is no, because they have all year long they've been mediocre to bad in the first half and awesome in the second half.
Yep.
They obviously won't like it. You're on the road in the playoffs. You don't want to be down 10-0. You're facing a top defense, but a defense that, to my eye, and I think the numbers back it up, over the last third of the season was not as dominant as it was the first 2/3 of the season. But if they're down 10-0, I think they're still going to feel like, all right, we're right there. Man, if the Broncos get down 10-0, I know they were down 17-0 to Philly back in early in the year and had the crazy comeback.
And they've been a comeback team all year.
They've been a comeback. The game is within a score late and they steal it. You know what I mean? They have not been a down double digits type of team.
The Giants.
The Giants won. But the point being, I think the Bills get up double digits and this thing can get out of hand on Denver. Because they don't want to ask Bo Nix to throw the ball 35 times. They want to
what
be able.
With Jacksonville.
Yes, that's right. That's a
what
great.
happened with
It's exactly what happened with Jacksonville. And they want to be able to exploit the Bills' bad run defense.
Just run the ball. Just run the ball all day long.
But KW, can I just?
You're gonna have to throw.
The problem with that is, and the reason teams have a hard time sticking with it, is it takes 1 3rd and 3 that you don't pick up, and you're punting back to Josh Allen, and now it feels like the game, could get away from you.
Run it until there's 3rd and 3. Do a little rollout pass. But you got the fact that Jacksonville got away from running the ball when they were successful and then got into shootout mode, I thought was unwise. Keep Josh Allen off the field. I think Broncos win this one.
Really?
You do.
Yeah.
You're hoping.
Well, both. I am both hoping. I believe in the Broncos defense. I believe in teams with an extra week of rest. I do not believe in the Broncos run defense, and I haven't all year. And I think the lack of wide receivers on the team is going to hurt Josh.
See,
when we come in on Monday and if it happened, what happened to the Bills? We're going to be like, the run defense, and really, do they have enough weapons for Josh?
I think that if the wide receivers that they have right now, if none of them get hurt during the game, I think the lack of receivers could be an unintentional benefit. Because it's going to force them to play 2 tight ends almost the whole game.
Thrive.
And that's where they want to be.
Anyway.
You know what I mean? Like, they want to live in that area.
Yes.
And the wide receivers they lost, with no disrespect to the players, I don't think are like game-changing players
I didn't want to be
anyway.
the one to say it,
but
like
35 yards last game. It wasn't huge, but
let's slow down on the receivers as he lost. Is it important? Yes. Brandon Cooks honestly has been more impactful than the receiver.
And Shakir's been their most
Shaquille had a
important
great
receiver
game.
for 2 years.
Yeah.
And now they get an opportunity to promote from the practice squad Super Bowl hero McCole Hardman.
Keon Coleman, they sometimes
There was a Keon Coleman site.
Yeah, but I just think they want Kincaid and Knox out there.
Yes.
They want their best players on offense in order are Josh Allen, James Cook, Kincaid, Knox, and the 5 offensive linemen. Those 9 guys, they're going to be there. And then, 2 receivers on the outside, I think they'll be okay.
Probably slide up in there.
Yeah.
Over a
so
line.
that's 10. That's their 10 best offensive players. They're going to be there.
buckle up. We got a weather report out of Chicago. It's going to be cold Sunday night when the Rams take the field. Dusty has the real feel. This is not the temp. The real feel, minus 18.
Should we do our annual bit, Wilds?
What?
Actual temperature overrated, real feel underrated. Just
Real feel
report
is
real
minus
feel.
the real
just
feel.
report
Greg.
real feel.
Yes.
Why are you reporting? Who cares what are we doing? Science projects?
Yeah, real
I don't
feel.
care what the temperature is. I want to know what it feels like.
I
when
want to
you
know
get
the
in.
real feel.
Yeah, just tell.
Real
how
feel
about this?
matters. That's the only thing that matters.
Meteorologists lead with real feel.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
It's
have like
also
in the
two.
fine print temperature.
Because I'm like, I thought it was going to be 2. I was wearing a short sleeve shirt. Here's Ben Johnson and McVay's chilly response to caring about the weather conditions. Greg, do you expect the weather to have an impact on this game?
Always does. Always does. Some way, shape, or form, the weather will play an impact, whether it's in play. Before the game even starts, you look at the weather, and now you're playing the mind game. I don't care if you're a cold weather team, warm weather team.
Oh, yeah, I like
it's a
this
mind
video.
game. Yeah, it's a mind game.
Short sleeve.
The short sleeves is a mind game. You want to act like it's not cold. I'm cold out there. I'm really cold, but I'm glad we're showing the run after the catch because that's where it starts to really impact players. When you're playing a normal game, you're not thinking about the weather, whether it's raining or in this case, it's below freezing. Like, you never think about, man, how am I going to secure the ball? When the weather is starting to be a factor, the ball is hard, you catch the ball and you naturally start to put 2 hands on the ball. That is not a natural running position. And so when you play in a team like Chicago and the Bears, all they do is punch the ball. Peanut Tillman did it. He started it. This is the team that does it better than a lot of teams in the National Football League. We see it from week to week. The weather will play a factor. Footing, ball. I will say this too. In Chicago, off that lake, real field -18 and the wind is swirling, man, look here. No.
You sound like you.
I sound like a player.
Bears.
I sound like a player that has played there, and we played an NFC Championship game and lost to the Giants with Tom Coughlin. You remember the frozen icicle nose and snot. Weeks before that, we played our last game in Chicago. Clearly, by far, that was colder. We were freezing. Lost that game mentally because we didn't need it, but we didn't want to be out there because of the weather. It will play a factor. And I just pray for the guys who don't get heavily involved in the offense and or defense because you just don't want to play in games like that.
Let me ask you this. Does it impact a team like the Rams, who are a warm weather team, obviously, more than the Bears?
So, yes, because they don't have, specifically the Rams, because you don't have a way to prepare for it. If you are a warm weather team and you try to have a dome or a indoor practice facility and you turn the air completely down, try to make it freezing,
yeah, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. But if you're the Bears, you're accustomed to it, but you still have to learn to tolerate it. The footing is always going to be an issue. Again, the wind, Caleb has dealt with it.
I just think for the Rams passing game, their guys are going to be more equipped. I think Stafford is more used to playing important cold weather games than Caleb Williams is.
He performed great last year.
Last year, Caleb, or last year Stafford against the Eagles in the snow. We can show you his numbers. He played well. So that's him. He had the fumble. Devontae made his whole Hall of Fame career playing in Green Bay. And I don't know if Puka knows what temperature it is. Puka's out of his mind. Puka's just, and I say that, and I know I poke fun at some of his off-the-field interviews, but he is the best kind of football maniac. Yes. Like, he is excited to create contact with a defensive back in the cold. So I just feel like this is not going to, if it plays a factor, I could see it oddly helping the Rams more than it helps the Bears.
I like the peanut punch idea. Like the Bears are so good at getting takeaways. Smart.
That's what they do.
The toughest team, right, in that type of weather? Because you got to be tough to play in that type of weather.
Yeah, both mentally and physically.
That's who.
Wow.
Oh, wow, Hubs, that's great.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.